What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again for another BFR. So, we got Game 43, which was in Detroit at the Detroit Red Wings. It was Wayne Gretzky's 61st birthday. The game was on TNT, so it was more nationally televised. And the Hawks announced that they were looking for a GM. Quite an interesting night. January 26th at 6:30 p.m. was supposed to be the face-off. However, it started about 20 minutes later than that, so about 6:50 since the games on TNT seemed to do that. What a game. That's all I need to say about that. Hawks win 8-5. They go to 16-20-7. They outshoot Detroit 38-33. Detroit out-hits them 12-7. Face-offs for 33-32 Chicago. On the power play, Chicago goes 2 for 3. Detroit goes 1 for 3. Fleury saves 33 out of 38. Nedeljkovic 12 out of 16 before being pulled, in which Pickard saves 18 out of 21. All I can say is, wow, this was a crazy game. It's debatable who should have won it. It was defensively awful all around. But let's get right into this. So Zadina hits Murphy without the puck, and there was no penalty for it. The Hawks couldn't get the puck out of their zone for the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and then shots were 4-0 Detroit 5 minutes in. Then Hronek nearly scores. Scrambled in front of the Detroit net. Nedeljkovic is able to cover it up. Post-to-post save on Nemestikov by Fleury. And then DeBrincat had a chance that was denied. And then a 3-on-2 goes through. It's essentially Kubalik, Kurashev, and Jones. Kurashev gives it off to Jones. Jones shoots it. It gets through Nedeljkovic. It doesn't go across the line, though. Kubalik is there with a wide-open net then on the other side. At 9:36, he scores the first goal of the game. It's 1-0 Chicago. It's his goal, 10th of the season from Kurashev and Seth Jones, to make it 1-0. And then DeBrincat made a diving great pass, which would lead to a 7:57 Detroit penalty to Pius Suter, who would take more penalties today than he has the entire season so far. He had 3 penalties today, and he had 2 the entire season. So that's at 7:57, and then at 7:20, basically copy-paste the same exact play that Jones, Kurashev, and Kubalik made. The Hawks do it again, this time on the power play at 7:20, 37 seconds into the power play. It's Dylan Strome, who would have a heck of a night. It's his fifth of the year from DeBrincat and Kane to make it 2-0. And then a Detroit turnover, a Kane and Hagel one-timer was saved. And then at 5:33, which is about 1 minute and 47 seconds after that first Strome goal, he scores again at an absolute snipe. Kane gives him the spinorama pass across ice, and then Strome snipes it in, perfectly shot, bar down and in. And he gets his 6th of the season, 2nd of the game, and Kane gets another assist to make it 3-0 Hawks. And then there were 3 goals on the last 6 shots for Detroit. Then Detroit calls a timeout, and these can either make or break the game. This one at first seemed to have no effect, as late in the period, at 31.5 seconds, it's a Chicago goal, this time from Sam Lafferty. As Strome takes a shot, he gets an assist, as Lafferty gets his first as a Blackhawk. And it's from Strome and McCabe to make it 4-0. And it was no chance again. Like the third one was probably the best chance that Nedeljkovic had to save a puck. But this one, another no chance. Strome shoots it, gives the rebound right to Lafferty, wide open net, and it's nearly blocked, but he was able to get all of it on it, so it goes in. And going into the second period, it is 4-0 Chicago. If you put, they were showing betting odds before the game about stuff about who would win, how much money you would win on DraftKings or whatever. If you bet the Hawks would score 4 goals in the first period, I wonder how much money you would have made. And then Yzerman then talked during the intermission. TNT's been good. They've got Rick Tocchet on the panel, Anson Carter, Liam McHugh. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name, and Paul Bissonnette. Gretzky is sometimes on the panel for the more important games. He wasn't there tonight for his birthday, but those 4 do a great job in the studio, and they talk to Yzerman during the first intermission. And then we go to the second period, which completely flipped the script. Firstly, Calvin Pickard, my favorite NHL franchise mode goaltender, was in, and he's the guy that if I can find him, whatever team he's on every year, I will pick him up just to put on my minor league goaltender just because I love his name. We go to the second period, and at 14:15, it's a Detroit goal from Robbie Fabry. Absolute gift from Calvin DeHaan. His 12th of the year, unassisted. Should be assisted by DeHaan. DeHaan just turned it over. Like, DeHaan had it in the corner. He just passed it right into the middle of the ice. Fleury comes out of his net, tries to poke check it away. Fleury misses it. He makes a move around him. DeHaan slides back into the goal. It's not enough to cover it up as it goes in, and that would make it 4-1 in favor of Chicago. Strome then nearly gets the hat trick, and then 56 seconds later, at 13:19, it's a Detroit goal. It was on an own rebound from Tyler Bertuzzi, his 18th of the season from Hronik to make it 4-2. And that's when I started getting. I was like, oh no, they're not gonna blow this. No way, they can't blow this. They've had such a good start. And the crowd was getting loud. They were chanting, "Let's go Red Wings." But then at 10:48, it's a Detroit penalty to Suter for holding, which would be killed because at 10:01, 47 seconds into that power play, Chicago penalty to Seth Jones, and that would be for interference, which would be killed as well because once that power play ended. Jones was angry, and it was a bad call, so I'll give him that. And then we go to. So that basically that was an awful call. Then Nemestikov had the puck, and then it was an awful call because Nemestikov had the puck, and it was because they called it interference. Jones simply pushed him, and they called it interference. I don't know why, but that's a penalty apparently. Then at 6:02, it's a Chicago penalty to Strome for high sticking. And this time Strome was angry, but it was the right call this time, so I'll give him justice for that one. Then Hagel had a good chance on a turnover that was saved. Announcers not agreeing with some of their penalty decisions. Though they agreed with the one on. They at first disagreed with the one on Jones, then they agreed with it, and then the Strome one they were 50-50 on. So I'm not even sure how to relate to that. Strome then was robbed of a hat trick for the second time this game, and Fabry then missed a wide open net on it, and oh my! If that went in, I can't even imagine how because at 13, so Fabry misses the wide open net. Then with 13 seconds left in the period, it's a Detroit goal from Pius Suter, the former Blackhawk. So he got his 10th of the year from Osterley, another former Blackhawk, and Fabry to make it 4-3. Nemestikov was then hurting on a block shot in the last 13 seconds, and the crowd was getting loud and going into the second intermission, and the Red Wings had all the momentum. First period, it was all Chicago. That DeHaan turnover caused the whole game to flip, and it's 4-3 going into the third period. During the intermission, they talked to Brad Marchand. Since he was playing the game, there was a doubleheader on TNT. You had Detroit, Chicago, then you had Boston, Colorado. Colorado won that game 4-3 in overtime. Marchand, they interviewed about the video he made with the fans' phone, which was pretty cool. I talked about it. I'm pretty sure it was the last BFR, one of those. So, they talked to him during the intermission, and we going into the third. At 14:44, it's a Detroit penalty to Suter for hooking, his third penalty of the game. DeBrincat fanned on a shot in the slot, and then Strome at 13:50 gets his first ever career NHL hat trick on a deflection. It's a Chicago power play goal from Dylan Strome, his 7th of the season. So he's had 3 of his 7 goals in the last night from Hagel and Jones, Seth Jones. So he had a 4-point night, so excellent night from Jones. Deflected, and there was a good screening, great screen in front. Strome could see it, just like the Pius Suter goal, which was a great screening in front for Detroit. Chicago then followed up with great screening of their own. It makes it 5-3, and it's just a good deflection. Fabry then trips Jones in the corner, and there's no penalty. Raymond takes down Strome, no penalty again. But then at 11:42, it's a weird sequence. Smith gets a penalty for roughing. Murphy gets a penalty for roughing, even though he wasn't even in the play. The Smith penalty is served by Ernie because Smith gets ejected for going after DeHaan and throws a few punches at him and then shoves him to the ice for no reason. So he gets the 10-minute misconduct. It's 4-on-4 at the end of it. And Bertuzzi was angry at 11:05 he causes a turnover that will lead to a Chicago goal. Again, it's Alex DeBrincat with his 25th of the season, lighting it up this year from Caleb Jones and Taze to make it 6-3. So the Hawks have regained the 3-goal lead. Detroit crowd was singing then "Living on a Prayer" as it was during the play, so that kind of motivated Detroit again, I think. As the DeBrincat breakaway was then stopped, and then it was a good save by Pickard. McCabe took a puck up high, and he was fine. Detroit 2-on-1 failed. A Chicago 2-on-1 then also failed. Tays was boarded. There was no penalty, and he went right off the ice. He would return to the game, but it would be a minute or a couple minutes. Then at 8:35, it's a Chicago penalty to Carpenter for slashing, which was another horrible call. The puck never even hit his hands. It was a light tap on the hip. He didn't go bam on him. He just went like the little things, like you try to knock him off his game or whatever. And they called that a penalty. So don't even know how they were calling penalties tonight. And it was on his hip, so it wasn't like you could actually slash it really. It's not like your arm where you can go bam right over it. You kind of just hips it right on the hip. Let's say this is the guy, hip him right there. That's exactly what it was. And then, so at that power play, it's 7:55. It's a Detroit goal from Moritz Seider, his 4th of the season, from Bertuzzi and Raymond to make it 6-4. And at this point, I'm like, oh no, not again. They're going to do it again, aren't they? Borgstrom goes around one guy, and he shoots, and it's a save. And then there's a big hit on Kubalik at center ice. And then at 4:33, it's a Detroit goal from Dylan Larkin, his 20th of the season, to make it 6-5. It was unassisted. And I was like, no. So I'm freaking out. And that goal was a post, crossbar, and off Murphy's skate. So that was kind of unsavable for Fleury. And then there was interference on Hagel that went uncalled. And Hagel responds to it by about 20 seconds later putting it in the back of the net on an absolute snipe. As at 3:47, it's a Chicago goal, Brandon Hagel's 11th of the year, unassisted again as it was off a turnover. Same as the DeHaan play. I want to say it was Letty was trying to pass it over. DeHaan, instead of picture Letty is in place of DeHaan. Instead of DeHaan giving it to Fabry, Letty gives it to Hagel, exact same play. Hagel shoots it right by the right side of Pickard, and it's 7-5 Chicago. Realize how there's no empty net goals yet, because we're still getting to there. So, Tays was slashed by Larkin. There was no call. And then Pickard was pulled at 3:17, and then someone yells very loudly, "You effing loser," which was very funny. I couldn't tell if it was in the stands or if it was a player. Rather, it was very loud, so it was funny. It's kind of like a JT Miller quote at this point. And then DeBrincat had a steal, and then at 1:40 he steals it from Larkin, and then at 1:43 it's a Chicago empty net goal from Alex DeBrincat, his 2nd of the night, his 26th of the season, unassisted, makes it 8-5, and then at the end of the game there's a Gagne breakaway saved. Hawks win this one 8-5. Incredible game, that's for sure. Very exciting game. Not a great defensive game. You don't want to have their opponent score 5 goals. However, the Hawks managed to outscore their opponent. Congratulations to Strome on his first career hat trick. DeBrincat had a good game. Both Jones brothers getting on the point board, and Tays getting in another assist there, and Strome getting 4 points, which he had 12 points prior to this game. He now has 16, so added a 4th of his point totals to last night. And overall, just need to improve that defense. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.